YouTube, what the crap's going on? Welcome back to the Republic of Carthage circa 248 BC, and apparently the winter time of turn 46 otherwise, in the Imperial Carthage campaign. Man, I'm having fun with this game. Are you all having fun yet? Hopefully watching it. I'm very excited for you to get to play it soon when it releases, because I think you're going to enjoy it. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So yeah, I'm excited for you all to get your hands on it. Anyway, we've made a lot of progress in terms of all the things we've conquered and accomplished so far, but we got a lot more to do. Messana is back in our hands, and I expect the Brudii will be returning over and over and over again. A few of you have commented asking why I haven't attacked the Romans. I'm just saving it. Like, I don't want to roll over them with Iberian infantry and round shield cavalry. It's kind of anticlimactic, even though we probably could. I think what we're going to do is I'm going to begin some military reforms, meaning I'm going to start building better military infrastructure and preparing for a much more impressive Carthaginian army. And I also feel like this will be a little bit of fun. Not that I'm like trying to have a historical playbook here, like that everything I do is completely based in history, but historically speaking, one of Carthage's, in my opinion at least, this is an opinion based on what I've read, one of the biggest weaknesses that Carthage had was its military organization. In my opinion, it was just bad. It relied on mercenaries who didn't fight for their family or a country. They just fought for money, and it resulted multiple times in large revolts and huge debts and all kinds of problems for Carthage. And their forces were just, I mean, with the exception of Hannibal, Carthage's military history is almost a history of complete and abject failure. And it hurts me to say that because I like Carthage and I'm a fan of Carthage. But yeah, it's the truth. So like I said, outside of Hannibal and maybe a couple of kind of okay victories by his father, it's pretty much, like I said, a history of complete and abject failure on the part of Carthage's military. So I think what we should do is, like for instance, right now I've been using Iberian infantry and round shield cavalry, which are kind of loosely based on a lot of the mercenaries that Carthage would have been using. And so I think it'll be fun. We'll start training some Libyan infantry, long shield cavalry, pointy infantry eventually, sacred band, stuff that would have been representative of maybe if Carthage had a citizen army. And there were Carthaginian citizens who served in their armies. That did happen. It was much more rare, and they were usually a more elite part of the force. Yeah, in any case, that's what we know about as far as roughly speaking the Carthaginian army. Again, I'm not a perfect authority on it, but that's roughly what I learned from reading a couple of books. I don't remember the name of the book, but it was authored by a man with the last name Dodge. That was my favorite one written about Hannibal. I thought it was very well written. Lots of good stuff out there to read, and very informative if you ever want to get into it. I'm going to end my turn. Still got my diplomat out working the trade rights and map agreements, which should make us considerable money. So we want to stay on top of that. See what else we get here in the turn in. Anyway, yeah, I figured this will be kind of a fun way, since Total War is a sandbox, right? And the historical games are kind of a way for you to play in a historical sandbox. Oh boy, speaking of playing in the sandbox, the Romans are back. And they want to play in our sandbox. And I had forgotten to retrain my troops. That was brilliant. Let's get them retrained. Retrain as many as we can here. They will probably siege us, but I think my troops will get retrained. We got some rebels here we need to get rid of. I'll get rid of them soon. What do they got here? Just Greek cavalry. I mean, they don't have much. I don't have much either, though. So it depends on the other units they have there, so it'd be a bit risky for me to try and just run them over. Let's get a few things under control. Let's see what's going on here. Carolus, we're soon to be able to retrain our infantry. That's good, because the Romans are probably going to continue to push us there. Got Osca under our control. We need to attack Numantia and take it over. Our faction leader is camped out at Tingi. And honestly, he's pretty old. He's going to kick the bucket any time. So I don't even know if there's a whole lot of point in me really moving him on to the next campaign. I mean, I could swing him down here to the Sahara province and see if he lives long enough to make it there. Though, I mean, he's likely to kick the bucket sometime soon. If I wait, though, we'll likely have more leaders in Carthage, and I can put together an army to move from there. But I think we'll wait with the faction leader. Just let him enjoy some retirement out here. A little bit docile of me, but you know, I think that's the way we're gonna play that. We got our faction heir here, though, however, and he could be quite useful to us in helping to tame Numantia. I think I'm gonna leave this army with Theages, however you say it, here in Osca. Osca is gonna potentially be facing the brunt of multiple assaults by the Gauls, and he will need a fairly sizable troop count to hold them back. I have enough cavalry, I think, so I'm gonna go ahead and just train one more infantry unit there, and we're gonna need more infantry to help hold Asturica together, so I'm gonna go ahead and start training a couple of units there as well, and we'll move out to Numantia soon. And I said Messana earlier. I say Messana because that's the way it looks like, you know, as an American if I'm speaking that. Senchibat linked me to a video where it's supposedly pronounced Misana, which I guess does sound much more Latin or Italian. But, you know, no one's ever accused me of being good at another language, let alone my own. So we'll see how that goes. New son adopted. Excellent. That's good. Well, speaking of having another commander at Carthage,
my liege, sire!
This 23-year-old is apparently the better governor for Thapsus, but he does have good command skill. They both do at 3.
Sire, my liege.
I kind of just want to take the younger one, even though he's the current governor, but he'll last longer in battles. I think I'm going to swing him up here to Carthage. Or actually, we'll leave him in Thapsus for now, but we're going to make an army for him. Thapsus Magna did finally increase its settlement size. Yeah, so all these have basically improved, except for Carolus. No, Carolus did too. Okay, they've all been improved to the point where they're growing now, so this is good. I need to retrain the troops here. I could probably just attack and win. Let's try and retrain the troops. Let's take a look at our buildings and keep things building. Sirta, let's see if there's, yeah, we have stuff available to us. Again, I was talking about doing military reforms. One of the best ways for me to be able to use better troops, and one thing that can be frustrating in this game, by the way, is the retraining system. At least it's frustrating to me. I don't love it. But if we accept it for what it is, because it is what it is, it's in the game, the best way for you to be able to handle retraining is to kind of field armies that your empire can support, right? If we're going to go conquer a bunch of barbarian territory where they've been recruiting full stacks the whole time, it's going to be tiny towns, and you're not going to be able to retrain sacred bands and stuff like that. So on the fringes of the empire, it kind of makes sense to be using lower tier troops. However, if we're going to be attacking Rome, Rome's probably going to be full of relatively large cities. Egypt, same thing if we ever attack them. So it's okay, I think, to field higher quality troops, especially since we'll be facing higher quality enemies in those situations. So starting to build stuff every time I get an opportunity. Now, we are fairly close to a population growth, but let's go ahead and fit this city barracks in here. And where it's possible, we'll just start building better military training facilities, like getting armors in, getting blacksmiths in. Again, here at Misana, we'll get this city barracks building. So let's use our money to start improving some of our military infrastructure. We'll do the same whenever Carthage is completed. We're going to be able to train Sacred Band, by the way, when we complete the awesome Temple of Baal, so it kind of fits in with that, as well as giving me some extra bonuses due to law. Get a new family member. We have lots of family members who are waiting to come of age, and as they do, one of the things I like to do, just to kind of roleplay a little, is I like to spread these family members out across all my settlements as best I can. to use them as governors and kind of roleplay the idea that, you know, your powerful family members would have been kind of controlling the holdings of the Republic, of the nation, whatever it is you want to call it, empire at this point, based on the way that we're doing things. We get a path blocked here. What was our merchant up to, by the way?
Can I be of service?
Illyria, Trades, Jessica.
Your honor.
Potential income.
Securing resources.
Monopolize gold, huh? Actually, let's do that. Get some gold there. Let's go monopolize that. Path blocked. Alright, let's go ahead and continue our turn in. Yep, there's the Roman siege, but my troops, as soon as I hit the turn in button, I do believe that they replenished. So we should be able to beat back the Roman siege. Oh my gosh. I did not expect that. A rather large Roman army just dropped off the fleet there. And we will need to go face them with something as quickly as possible. I think what I'm going to do is pull this army out of Carthage. And let's grab some mercenaries. Hoplites, and we've got these Libyan javelin men.
Orders.
And let's get across here. Come attack the Roman fleet. So we should be able to defeat it. And I'm going to get my troops off the boat on the next turn. I can't get them off on this turn, so we'll have to wait. But we'll be able to reinforce Carolus, so the Romans are unlikely to accomplish anything very significant there. Alright, Thapsus completed a building project, so let's get them started on a city barracks as well. Like I said, we'll start spreading these city barracks all throughout our Republic, Empire, like I said, whatever you want to call it at this point. Semantics, I guess, with the names. Let's get a Temple to Baal. And Asturica is getting a larger garrison, but I may go ahead and risk moving out. We're going to have this Temple to Baal. We're going to have more garrison on the way. We should be able to hold down the fort. Maybe a little rioting. Let's do something like that. And I don't know if this army will be strong enough to take Numantia. I guess it depends on what kind of forces they have there. We shall see along the way. We shall see. Settlement besieged. Yes, at Misano. Let's go beat back the Roman siege here. 4 Numidian mercenary cavalry is kind of a waste. Let's just disband that unit for now. And let's beat back Captain Quintus here, who comes fighting us with Testati. Some Principe. Romans haven't hit any Marian reforms yet, apparently. Principe are pretty solid heavy infantry units. Nothing to be trifled with there. The balance of power doesn't like us here, but that's because the balance of power has never been accused of being terribly intelligent. But let's get things done here. Military success in Rome Total War, or in this case Rome Total War Remastered, has a lot to do with your knowledge of how the AI works and then how the battle mechanics work. And rear charges in this game, ergo breaking leadership, is everything. Like, it's absolutely everything. And so as you play, that should be your objective, is to be breaking enemy leadership. Don't, like, I mean, unless it's just for your own satisfaction in a situation where you're 100% confident you're going to win, I would never just sit and fight an enemy head on. Like I said, I've done it before in situations where it's like, okay, I know I'm going to win this fight. I just want the satisfaction of seeing my Sacred Band like crush a Roman cohort or something like that from the front. That's fine, right? I think that type of thing makes sense. But if you're playing in the true manner that wars should be fought, which is you never fight a fair war, right? You always fight unfair to your advantage where possible. You should definitely take advantage of the way that the leadership in this game works, which is that it's easily broken if you attack the flanks. Now I'm going to fast forward Get all my troops through the gate. You always love the little scenes you get when you're shoving elephants through here, and guys are like, come on, bro, it's my turn. This is, call it what you will, something that some people probably wanted fixed. Some people would look at this with those happy rose-colored glasses and be happy to see these little quirks still exist in the game. So, like I said, call it what it is. I've always wondered sometimes if these quirks are just a remnant of the engine, and without doing a ton of engine recoding, which would then again not really make this a remastered but a remake. It always makes me wonder, you know, like, because I'm not a video game developer, so I have no idea like how much of this stuff is just like a coding thing, how much of it is a choice thing for them to take on, and then what the ramifications are. Hey, I like this. The Romans are kind of deployed in a triplex aces here a little bit. Nice. CA, yes. Triplex aces is a really cool formation, I have to admit. For being a Carthage fanboy, you gotta call it what it is sometimes, and the triplex aces is a really cool looking formation. And to be fair, the Roman troops, like the Scutum and the Gladius short swords, I mean, that stuff is pretty awesomely iconic. And like I said, even as a Carthage fanboy, I can appreciate the Roman style. Definitely looks cool. Getting the Roman troops all lined up. Alright, looks like their velites are gonna maybe come up to put a little harassment on us. I didn't move up my skirmisher, so that'll probably be pretty effective. Well, I say that. It would be effective if I weren't just about to charge their face. Romans are running away. Can't say I'm terribly surprised. Alright, let's push them up the hill. Push the elephants up. We are going to rush in and go for a quick killing blow. Just send my elephants in to assist right here. Let's get those gladiators fixed. We're gonna need our elephants really here because my cavalry is kind of blocked by Principe. So our elephants are gonna be pretty key in this engagement. And they are doing what they do best. They are causing a massive rout right in the middle of the Roman formation. Got a nice rear charge over here on the velites. The velites be like gladiators, however you pronounce it, velite gladiators, whatever. So yeah, the elephants obviously basically handed us that victory by crushing the Roman center with a coordinated infantry and elephant charge. The enemy leadership was not able to hold together. Elephants are actually fairly easy to deal with in this game if you have the proper tools. Elephants and chariots, I should say. A lot of people discount javelin units as being not very useful, like that they're very weak and they don't cause a lot of damage, and that's partly true. They're not great in this game. Against, like, shielded infantry, I should say. They're not great, but they are really good against... They have a bonus versus chariots and elephants, and they're very effective against them if you can get them into range, and then they're relatively cheap troops, too. And I think the idea is that you let your throwaway troops take some of the beating. We're killing a lot of Romans on the way out the door, which is what I wanted here. There we go. That should work. Let's go ahead and exit the battle. Make sure to make use of those troops, what I'm saying. Like, if you're facing Egypt, if you're facing the Britons, Pontus with their side chariots, Seleucids with side chariots or elephants, or Carthage with elephants, the Romans are actually pretty well equipped to deal with that stuff in two ways. One, they have access to missile troops that can deal with them in the form of velites or, auxilia, other stuff like that. Cavalry auxilia is quite good, that type of thing. Archers with flaming shot are pretty good at scaring that stuff off. But specifically javelins, but then also all the Roman infantry are armed with pila, which is quite effective at dealing with those units as well. It can cause a lot of damage. What I would recommend, though, is if you're facing those type of units in the campaign, screen your army using the light infantry. And again, it kind of harkens back to a little bit of historical accuracy. That was a pretty typical practice. You would screen a main army with light infantry, and you can do that very same thing in this game to pretty solid effect. you can screen your army with that light infantry and effectively get rid of those units that would normally cause you a lot of damage if you let them into your main infantry line. I mean, that's where the elephants want to be, is in your main infantry line. So don't let them. Just a couple of pointers that I would give people who are maybe less familiar with this game. In fact, I remember when I played multiplayer on this game a lot years ago, people would just frequently ban elephants or artillery. And artillery never made much sense to me because I didn't think artillery was particularly good in this game to begin with, but people always banned it. And I've always loved the fact that that's not the case, you know, in like the Warhammer realm, that of course you can use artillery because it's part of the game. And in Warhammer, artillery is far stronger. Far stronger, far more effective than it is in this game. The artillery in this game, I don't find it to be particularly effective. It's pretty crude and relatively low damage for the most part. In any case, people would ban elephants a lot too, because they didn't think they were fair, but I think it had more to do with people just not really knowing how to fight against elephants, being quite a bit of the problem. Shows this army with a pretty full stack, but some of our horsemen were still hurt because we don't have the right stable built here at Osca, unfortunately. We'll put it on Q. I don't want to sit here and let these guys siege me and get away with that, so I'm going to go fight them off. So we'll do the same here. And, I mean, really nothing to fear here. It's just a bunch of Joe Dirt warbands and a decent barbarian general unit here. So nothing for us to be terribly afraid of. Let's just go ahead and take care of business. I want to get Numantia under control, and I want to get a couple other things established in this episode. I want to get another army trained in Carthage that can go and help take over the Sahara province, and then we also need to get some folks moving east from Lepsis on over to Siwa and Cyrenaica in order to take away the last, footholds of the Numantia faction that we've been fighting for quite a long time. We want to just rid them. Now, once we make that move over to Siwa and Cyrenaica, it will almost inevitably kick off a war with Egypt. But you know what? That's part of the fun of the game, right? That's part of the fun of the game. And that's also another reason why I want to be making these military reforms now. Meaning getting all of my buildings upgraded in place, because I think what we've been fighting, like the Romans, consist mostly of sword units and stuff. We haven't had a lot of issue fighting, because our armies can hold off their sword units long enough for me to get the hammer and anvil charges I need. Fighting Egypt will be completely different. They could come in with a whole lot of very, very good bowmen, like Pharaoh's bowmen. They can have phalanx units, which would be very tough for our swordsmen to tackle. Some of the lighter ones, not so much, but an armored one would be pretty tough for our cheap swords to tackle, because they're not particularly good at piercing armor. So again, more reasons why we'll be facing more chariots. We'll want to have access to slingers, to javelins, all that kind of stuff that will help us face those type of enemies. That's what we want to do. Just get prepared. There's an old redneck saying, "Get ready, ain't gotta," or stay ready. No, hang on. What is it? I gotta remember this. Obviously, I'm not redneck enough if I don't remember it. Stay ready, ain't gotta get ready. Something like that. I don't know. I think it's close. It's one of those not so profound sayings, obviously, but good stuff indeed. Let my troops regain their stamina. We are going to have to turn to face this way. I'm gonna just let them run again, then I'll let them rest. You can always walk these troops. It defaults to run. You can push the R key right after you give an order, and it'll set a troop to walk, or it's this button right here, toggle walk run. You can keep an eye on their stamina right down here, and you should keep an eye on their stamina. You can also push the space bar. Again, this is all set to defaults right now, and you can see their stamina up in the little wheel indicator there. So let's see how we're very close to the red line over here. Making a breakthrough over here is going to be a little bit frustrating, but I think that's what we're going to try for. I'm gonna move up my infantry just a little bit. The AI is kind of constantly repositioning. It is something that I think is a little annoying about the AI in this game. You can certainly use it to your advantage. It will help you in a lot of situations, but it's frustrating in the sense that the AI will make a lot of moves that are very detrimental to them. Good for you as a player, bad for them. But, you know, it is what it is. We're gonna run into some odd situations here. I need some infantry to tie these guys down. Let's go create a break. I'm gonna create a break in a slightly less conventional way here. Not with my general, obviously. Pull back from that. I'm gonna actually throw my cavalry in right here. Kind of a YOLO charge. But it's, you can sometimes just kind of overwhelm these cheap units of warband with numbers. That's what I'm, yep, immediately accomplished it right there. Let's bust through to the warlord and go ahead and try and overwhelm him again. So we're just going pure bully by numbers here. I am going to charge with my general, which is risky. I'm going to use the trick with the rally. You'll actually see it working here. See here, it holds your general back in the very back of the unit when you push it. So thank you for that comment, by the way. It resulted in me getting that tip that I needed. It won't save you every time. Your general will eventually work his way up into combat, but it certainly helps. Another thing you can do is use your general for a lot of like chasing routing unit type duty. Oh, we're taking some fairly savage losses over here, because that barbarian general is a tough 2-hit point armored unit, and he isn't going to break easily. There we go, got another break there. All we had to do was kind of touch their flank, and our weight of numbers strategy, albeit crude, was effective. It was effective. I'm going to start mopping up routing units. The enemy general is dead. Go assist our other pockets of fighting over here. We're gonna rout these warband. Again, warband tend to rout relatively quick whenever they don't have good leadership support. They can put up a decent fight with the proper terrain and the proper leadership support, but they clearly don't have that here. Because you can see a few of my Iberian infantry took a bit of a beating. Let's ensure that these units don't come back anytime soon by chasing some of them down. My numbers of cavalry are a little more limited than I would like for this purpose here, but we should be fine. I wish that Iberian infantry had the fast-moving trait. It'd probably make them a little OP for their price. But doesn't mean I don't wish they had it. Let's go chase a few of these units over here. Let's do the same. Let's give another attack order there. General getting some kills. Those units are off the battlefield now. The next targets keep cleaning this up. I'm gonna fast forward for a second. I like doing some of this cleanup in these battles. It helps gets my units more experienced chevrons, and it also makes sure that the AI has a lot more to recover from, and won't quickly return to your doorstep with that same army. Maybe it's not necessary, but it is pretty satisfying. It's like, you know, if you're gonna deal your enemy a defeat, might as well deal them a big defeat, in my opinion. So, there we go. Victory! A pretty sound defeat of the Gauls. We're going to need that stables to become available rather quickly. In fact, I'm going to pull out here and see if there's no mercenary cavalry available. There's a unit of Balearic slingers and some Spanish mercenaries. I'll hold off on getting any more mercenaries because I will need the money at the moment to fund all these city barracks. Gaul is the strongest faction? I think not. I think not.
Prepare for battle.
Gaul and their Joe Dirt war bands, folks. Train our infantry there. Okay. Let's take this
My liege, sire, mighty
commander here, bring him up to Carthage.
ready to sail.
Get off the ships and... Whoa! Got an ambush laid there, I think. Did we spot it? Or are we actually ambushed here? Let's find out. How tricky! I'm impressed. About as impressed as I can be by the Romans. Hey, speaking of, I know I'm the heir of Carthage. It's kind of a weird question coming from me, but which Roman faction is your favorite, like, color scheme and stuff in this game? Are you down with Julii, that sweet Roman red, or do you like the SPQR purple? Do you stick to that green Brutii, vomitrocious
Stand and fight. Move.
color theme?
General.
I don't know. What do you prefer? Honestly, I think the Julii have like a really sweet color scheme as far as Rome is concerned. I always imagine like all this red with Rome. I don't know if that's true, but purple is another one that I could imagine too. And so SPQR probably follows up a close one. And I know back in the day, doing like a quick mod on the preferences file, you could play as the SPQR Romans, and it was pretty fun. It's pretty fun. Alright, let's see what we get here. I've got a lot of Libyan mercenaries, so we are going to be playing javelin games with the Romans here. I'll let you all enjoy a bit of javelin day goodness. The Romans will probably stop to throw their own pillar. And again, this is what I was talking about earlier. You can screen your main line with light infantry. It's very effective against the Romans because the Romans need to land their pillar into your melee infantry, and by just denying them that, you've taken away a pretty large strength of the Roman military. So see here, they're going to do a one and done type charge, and I can just use my cheap peltus to absorb the charge. It's phalanx ability. I'll just charge through. I'll go ahead and pull my peltus back now that they've effectively screened the javelins. And what damage they cause from a hit point standpoint is effective. Now we can go attack the Sistadi. We've got our mercenary hoplites pushing up here. I love phalanxes in this game. They are so cool. They're a really fun mechanic. In terms of, you know, if you attack it from the front, it's pretty much suicide. But if you get into its flanks, it's an absolute. Anyway, I like it. Like I really like the way that phalanxes play out in this game. I think it's very well done, and it's disappointing that phalanxes in this game are so much better and so much more fun than a phalanx in Rome 2. The phalanxes in Rome 2 still barely function, if they can be said to function at all. I've had a couple of mods that make them a little better, but as far as the visual effects go, obviously a hoplite phalanx in Rome 2 looks much more visually appealing because they're holding the spear in a proper overhand fashion for a hoplite phalanx. But the phalanxes in general in that game are very, very unsatisfying to me. Very unsatisfying. In this game, they're quite satisfying, even though a hoplite phalanx is not really depicted properly in this game. It's the game mechanic for the phalanx that I truly enjoy, and I think that's one of the things that I wish would have been better. Now, phalanxes weren't useless in Rome 2. They could be used to pretty decent effect in campaign in certain situations. They were very difficult to use in multiplayer because they were so easy to avoid and so easy to pick apart because so many units have javelins.
I promise you that.
So many units had javelins. I think in the end that was actually probably one of the biggest problems with balancing in Rome 2 is just too many units had javelins.
Any of that, there's something I'd like you to do
The
for
warm
me.
company of appreciative camp followers. Alright, let's start our deployment. There's quite a few Julii here. I don't know which direction they will be coming from. This looks like the Pripyat Marshes map from multiplayer. Maybe. This was a fun map to play on in multiplayer because people would always attempt ambushes and stuff.
Have arrived on the battlefield.
Yeah, my reinforcements will
Send
be
them to
coming
the
from
point of
the
crisis.
generally correct direction.
Units.
Alright, let's get set up. I imagine the Julii may charge towards us because my impending reinforcements, they may not appreciate my army getting stronger if they don't attack decisively. Let me click that unit. On the world, the control click thing is just like not working well. It wants me to just get them all in a quick drag selection. Alright, whatever. There we go. God, here we got some more hoplites. Let's get some light infantry up here to screen. Turn off the skirmish mode on the Libyans. Push up some of this cavalry. Let's actually push this cavalry up flank. Let's push this cavalry to my right flank. There we go. The Romans are pushing heavily towards my reinforcements, so... But as I move, I think they'll cease that. Position right here. I think the AI pretty typically just turns to face where we're going to be at. I'll get my army in one large group, move them forward, and then commence an attack on the Roman body. We'll be pushing up a hill here, which is not ideal. Not really what we want to be doing, but I will do it because I feel fairly confident about our ability to win here. Again, I'm going to screen my entire infantry line. And I keep my hoplites out of phalanx formation prior to battle. This is something that you should get used to in this game if you're going to be using a lot of hoplites. They are able to reposition much quicker. It doesn't take them a terribly long time to get their, not to say pikes, but I guess they kind of are pikes. The control click isn't working with these units. It works on my regular units, but for units that came in as reinforcements, it's not working. I'm gonna have to report that one to Feral. See if they can take a look at it. It seems like a bug of some sort, maybe. Right. Group all my infantry. We're gonna hard group them. Needing to be careful that this is a bodyguard unit. I gotta remember that, even though it's not gonna have the square flag on it. All right, let's move up, and we will do so at a walk, so as to not waste all of our stamina. I'm going to do the same thing over here. It's good to walk into striking range with your infantry, and then commence the charge. The AI really does just never stop repositioning in this game. There they go. They have commenced a very odd late repositioning here. Their equites are on a suicide charge. Let's make them pay for it. Nope, they're gonna fall back there. Okay. Their equites here are gonna be lost. Almost no effect. The units are marching forward. Let's let our light infantry do its job. I'm gonna quickly position, or run into a position here where my light infantry can release their javelins. Let's protect our interest here. Charge that equite while it's get caught on the hoof. Okay, light infantry is in position. They're gonna give some supporting javelin shots here into these equites. I would assume so. They are on fire at will, but they did not fire. It's okay. Alright, we are nearly in javelin range. Let's see if we can get in javelin range, the Romans, just to kind of force their hand into starting some... I want them to commit to some pillar throw. So the Romans have lost a couple of cavalry engagements on the flanks, which will cost them once the battle gets underway. And I am going to just click some attack orders and make sure that we do a bit of javelining here. If the Romans want to keep backing up, then I'll just bring the javelins to them. Roman cavalry has requested a second beating, and I'm happy to oblige. Alright, our light infantry is effectively screening. Okay, these hoplites, let's get them into phalanx formation. I was a bit late on that order, but shouldn't be the end of the world. See, our guys will quickly regroup and get into their phalanx. That can be dangerous when you're up against a high enough quality opponent. That can punish your phalanx very quickly in melee. But that is just not the case for us at the moment, not with these Romans. See how close you can get your phalanx? You can get all the way up in here, and then last second give a phalanx order and they'll reposition. So there we go. Pretty decisive engagement. I'm gonna take my... Where's my bodyguard in the midst of this? Bodyguard... No, actually, I'll just take all these guys. We got a bunch of war dogs up against our infantry here. Push it forward. Yeah, these war dogs are gonna be a pain in the butt. You can't actually target the dogs either. The dogs just follow whatever they want. And see, my guys are actually targeting the infantry crew. Almost one of the best things you can do is just kind of turn around, face the dogs, and let your guys fight them. At least I think. I don't know. It's been a while since I played. Perhaps I'm wrong, but who let the dogs out here, Romans? Come on.
These men are perfect.
See, the dogs continue to fight after battle is over as well. Alright, let's really give it to the Julii here. Give them a good old-fashioned clubbing. Oh yeah, we've dealt them grievous losses in this battle. So the Julii are going to be reminiscing the loss of many, many sons of Rome. Here we go, let's fast forward, because we're just in a mop-up process. There we go, that should work. That's pretty much the entirety of their army.
Victory is sweet.
Perfect. I do want to get to Numantia on this episode. We had a lot of battles to fight, and you know, that's fine. I like fighting battles. That's what I enjoy about Total War. So, not gonna complain about that. Not gonna complain when the battles come to me. What do I want to do with this general? What do I want to do with him? We could actually bring him back to Carthage. We'll have one general go to Sahara, another general go east. We could probably ferry one over via ships. We can now retrain Iberian infantry. And soon, round shield cavalry.
Ships ready. Yes, mighty lord.
Excellent. Good stuff. Our income is looking very solid at the moment. Despite having a rather large military presence. That's always a good thing. Good, good, good.
My liege.
Waiting here. We have the retraining in process there. Let's check for places to put in more city barracks, like Lily Bayum would be a great place to put in the city barracks. So let's do so there. They're pretty expensive buildings, so Palma isn't near at the level to be able to do that yet, so we'll just build whatever we feel like, basically, in Palma. And then if I take a look at Carthago Nova, go ahead and focus on a little bit of income there, because military expansion's really not on the table very much. Particular case. Yeah, see, this is going to get us city barracks in the next 5-ish turns, basically across the entirety of our holdings. Definitely want this one here too to be able to train more Iberian infantry. So it's going to eat up all our money, but will certainly be worth it as we progress farther into the game to be able to field troops that are of higher quality. Not to mention that the Libyans function as an anti-cavalry unit, which be very necessary depending on who we're facing. We haven't faced a lot of cavalry because we're facing the Romans, but you certainly can face a fair bit of cavalry.
Under siege.
Messana is already back under siege. The Brudii thinking that they have an easy opportunity here. Our faction leader indeed died. I figured he was about to kick the bucket, and I guess it was nice of me to let him enter that early retirement. I'm just going to auto-resolve this here. They probably killed a bunch of my elephants. But soon enough, we'll be able to retrain elephants. No, they didn't. It's fantastic. I cannot enter the settlement yet, because I don't have the movement points. Alright, we've got our army out here. And honestly, we could just... let's retrain this army quickly. So here we go. Do a bit of retraining. And we do need some more cavalry in this army. So I'm going to throw in a unit of cavalry, and then I'll just grab some units of Numidians, and we're going to send him marching down here to the Sahara. I'll take that other general, and we'll prepare to go east of Lepsis. Again, we had a good income. Let's go to Carthage. In Carthage, we'll go ahead and start building the city barracks as well. Again, now we're going to have a city barracks present in basically every settlement that's large enough to be able to build one. Do some repairs on our buildings here. Asturica has finally calmed down. This is good news. Let's get some mining income while we're at it. Iberia definitely gives, and again, somewhat historically, certainly gives Carthage access to a lot of funding that they definitely need. Got a tavern here still. I'm going to leave some of these barbarian buildings just for a short while. We'll replace them later because it does give us a culture penalty. That's pretty much it though, because we've got everything. We've got an idle resource report. This spy isn't a whole lot of good to me, unfortunately. I think that's a Scipii. No, he's mine. Buy out this other merchant. There we go. Buy him out, boys. City expands. So Cirta has expanded, so we'll want to go ahead and queue up. Well, we don't have the money for it, so we can't queue it up now, but let's remember Cirta and Syracuse are going to need the new main settlement upgrade on their buildings, so let's end a turn here so that we can take care of that. You're no longer under siege anywhere. Looks like my diplomat has arrived in Dacia. The comment by Ardek that he goes one step at a time was utterly brilliant. Step, S-T-E-P-P-E, on the way to Dacia, so great rights. I made sure to post that on Twitter. It was an absolutely fantastic comment.
A most generous
there we go.
proposal.
Asturica is relatively lightly defended. We will need to begin the building of siege equipment. Continue said siege. Where's our other inactive diplomat? Down here is Siwa. That's okay, he's just kind of scouting this out, so that's inactive fleet. They need to be active. I don't see any ports being blockaded, so he's okay. Alright, let's end the turn. Get our income. And keep preparing here. Hopefully we can get Numantia. I mean, we won't conquer it on this episode because I am out of time. I need to space these out because I'm still under a limited number of videos on embargo, but we're going to capture Numantia. We've got an army now prepped to head to the Sahara, so we'll begin that. For those of you who like to see progress, I'm going to take this older... Actually, let's leave the older... Let's leave the older guy here as kind of a more of a local defense force, and we'll take the younger character because he can strike out here and go gain some fame and glory, right? I was also told that you can... Mercenaries available right now. Watchtowers and forts. Okay, that's how you do that. I had to remind myself there. Alright, let's head down here to the Sahara. You can kind of tell where settlements are, at least in the desert. It's fairly easy because you can see the farmland surrounding them. It's going to be a long walk. So we got many turns. And again, that'll be next episode for us. Take a look at some of our ports here. Alright, so let's take care of these places that grew. So Cirta needs this counselor's chambers. Syracuse is going to need, after this building completes, they're going to need the counselor's chambers as well. And then it was town grows Meaty, or desert settlement out here. Again, once that building finishes, we'll build the governor's palace. That's going to take a pretty good chunk of our income. But, I mean, almost all of our settlements that can build are building. Misana. Long shield. I'll wait. I'll just wait a turn and then get some more buildings going. Lepsis, though, won't take much. This Carthaginian port is pretty cheap, so we'll throw that in. Be accomplishing something. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed this episode. So the military upgrades have begun. Basically all over our republic or empire, like I said, whatever you want to call it at this point. We will have city barracks present in the larger settlements. We can, I think, imagine, like, so see, like here, Croton, large city, Tarentum, large city, Rome, large, as we move through here, it's not feasibly difficult for us to imagine being able to use these higher quality troops. And so by me improving to it again, over here in Alexandria, Memphis, large city, Alexandria, large city again, none of this is a surprise, right? Now, at little places, we're kind of better off to just keep using our cheaper units, but this will give us something interesting to do. And again, if we're just talking about the way that the replenishment in this game works, that I think this is one of the best ways to go with it. Just upgrade your empire. Just upgrade to it, and then you'll be ready to use those better troops, and you won't really have to worry about, oh, do I have to march back to X settlement to replenish, or do I have to keep like a supply train of, units following my army in order to bring them back up and merge. Just one way you can do things for sure, but to me this is a simpler way to approach it. Anyway, HeirofCarthage signing out for now. Do hope you all enjoyed it. I will be back with more content soon. I will see you then.